What's up, Steeler fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Behind Enemy Lines podcast, part of the Friday Let's Ride podcast here on the Steel Curtain Network. And I am excited for this show. Why? It's a playoff game, and the Steelers didn't have one of these last year, but I have Silas Whittle with me. He is the one that does our Buffalo Bills coverage for Fans First Sports Network. Silas, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I gotta ask you right off the bat about the overarching thought of the Buffalo Bills fan base. The Buffalo Bills have had quite the season, ups and downs. There was one point where everyone thought they were left for dead. They win 5 in a row to finish the season, and they are in not just winning, but winning the AFC East, having the number 2 seed in the conference. Pretty impressive turnaround. I have to think though, when they look at the Steelers, especially after 2022's game, the 38-3 thumping in Buffalo, they have to be pretty confident, right? I mean, what are the fans saying about this AFC wildcard game this Sunday at 1:00?
I'm gonna be honest with you. The majority of the fans that really may not pay attention as closely to the game as some of us do. They're kind of looking past this game. Mason Rudolph's a backup quarterback. No TJ Watt, so they just I think your casual Bills fan watcher is just like, all right, the Steelers are not that great of a team. We are, and we should, we're looking forward to playing Kansas City in the next round. However,
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. However, those of us who do follow football closely and have watched the Steelers over the last few weeks, ever since Mason Rudolph took over for the Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky merry-go-round. You can see the offense has that big playability. Mason's been able to get the ball downfield at a much more efficient clip than the other quarterbacks. Pickens is happier, which is always good. NFL young boy, as they like to call him. Deontay's producing. The run game's been producing really, really well. Mason's played a really, really good, efficient brand of football. If I'm not mistaken, he hasn't turned it over yet. I don't think he's had an interception yet. So, hey, you can't beat that. I know a lot about interceptions.
So, no, Mason Rudolph has not thrown an interception since he has started in the 3-game winning streak. He did have a fumble against Baltimore in those horrendous conditions at M&T Bank Stadium in Week 18. So let me ask you this, though. I'm glad that you answered my follow-up question, which was, yes, the casual Bills fan is overlooking the Steelers, but those that pay close attention might not be. Is there a part of this game, though, maybe it's on the Buffalo side of things and not necessarily having anything to do with the Steelers? Is there a part of this game, though, that is like, man, this makes me uneasy? Or are you super confident about the Bills to do the job and move on to the divisional round?
Well, for me, it's the combination of the weather forecast and Jaylen Warren. I think you guys have started to implement some 13 personnel and have really kind of bullied your way into a really, really efficient run game, a really productive run game as well. I do like the screen. I do like the fact that you guys employ a lot of screens. That's really good for a quarterback that you're not truly comfortable with holding on to the football. You want to get the ball out kind of quick when you're dealing with Mason Rudolph or a backup quarterback. So you want to get the ball out quick, and you guys are doing it. It's working. You have the athletes to do it. The kid out of Memphis is extremely fast that you guys took, I think, last year or the year before. George Pickens is a handful whenever he has the ball in his hands. And, Freiermuth's coming back from the injury. He's been a safety blanket in the middle of the field. So you guys are able to attack everywhere. Jaylen Warren is absolutely explosive when he can get his legs turning, out on the perimeter. So, you have the Thunder and Lightning running back duo. You have a quarterback that is definitely going to get the ball out and play smart and not hurt the team. And you have a defense that typically every year finishes somewhere near the top 10. I think this year, according to DVOA, you guys are like top 6 or 7, somewhere around there. So the defense is playing well. Although you're missing TJ Watt, you still have guys like Nick Herbig out of Wisconsin. You still got Keanu Benton. You still have Hayward coming back from the injury. You still have Highsmith with his double-digit sacks and guys like Marcus Golden, Patrick Peterson and JPJ out there in the secondary, who's having a great year after kind of slipping in the draft a little bit. So there's definitely some weapons on both sides of the football that worry me when you couple it with the weather forecast, which looks like it's going to be snow during the game.
Let me ask you a question about Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen is a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal talent. He has arm talent to spare. But there have been games where he's had some stinkers. Now, my question for you is there anything that you can think of, a common denominator that the opposition is doing in those games that equate to him maybe turning the ball over at a higher than you're used to, or just not having a good game? Is there anything, I should say, that defenses are doing that is kind of confusing or getting him out of his comfort zone? What is that?
I think when you get to Josh Allen early, it kind of has an effect on the rest of the game. Now, I'll give an offensive line a lot of credit. They haven't been the most consistent unit on the team, but they've probably been the best unit on the team. And Josh just sometimes doesn't trust the offensive line if they get broke down, if they're breaking down early, and he will take unnecessary chances. So I really can't pinpoint anything that the defense is doing, because I don't think that it's anything that the defense is doing. Like I talk to Bills fans on Twitter and in real life, and we have these conversations at the beginning of the year, and it's like, bro, who's the team you're most worried about this year when it comes to the Buffalo Bills? It's like, dude, the Buffalo Bills, because we do so many things to put us in predicaments where we're going to lose a game. Case in point, for example, Denver. We did everything correct in the fourth quarter to get the desired outcome, which was a missed field goal and a walk-off win, and had 12 men on the field. Josh Allen throws an interception right before halftime, allowing Denver to triple dip with 3 field goals and, essentially make this a 2-score game that didn't need to be a 2-score game. Just, things like that. The Jets game, first game of the season. The decisions were, I'm just sitting there and I want to sit down and grab a tablet and sit next to him and say, show me on the tablet what you saw, because what I saw tells me you should have thrown it away. So I'm trying to figure out what you saw that I might be missing. And it's been like that all year. This has probably been his worst year when it comes to I don't want to say it's his worst year with turnovers, but this is the worst decision-making year I've ever seen. And I'm taking that back to rookie year Josh Allen.
Wow.
This is the worst. This is the worst by far.
Well, I even think back to the end of the first half in the Week 18 game in Miami when they were driving down the field, no timeouts left. He throws an in-cutting route, which gets stopped short of the goal line, and they don't get the field goal unit out on time because they don't have time out. They can't clock it, and they go into halftime with no points. Sometimes those decisions in the playoffs can absolutely kill you, so I understand what you're saying in that regard. I do want to ask about injuries. Gabe Davis is obviously the big name that most people are worried about. What are we hearing out of Buffalo? Are there any other players that are banged up that Steeler fans should know about? Maybe even if they play, that they might not be 100%?
Well, Ty Johnson is in concussion protocol, but the expectation is that he'll clear. Terrell Dodson went out with a shoulder injury, I believe. I think Terrell Dodds went out with a shoulder injury. He's trending towards playing, so we're not really too worried about him. And we also got Bale Inspector back, 7th round linebacker out of Clemson. We took 2 years ago. Extremely athletic kid, a little bit bigger than Dodson, a little bit faster, a little more athletic, a little more of a natural all-purpose linebacker. He was, had he not been injured, he probably would have been playing Dodson snaps throughout the season. So we feel confident that even if Dodson can't go, we have our guy Bale Inspector to pop in there, and then Russell Douglas left out. Douglas left out of the game. I think it was a knee injury, and we were extremely worried because we lost Trey White early in the year to an Achilles, and just seeing Rasul leave the game, it definitely had me worried as a Bills fan. But he came back out. He said he could have gone back in and played, so we're not too worried about him. Gabe Davis, though, what I'm hearing is it's a PCL sprain, and they're just going to keep monitoring him and see if he can go. I thought the offense functioned pretty well without Gabe Davis on the field. To be honest with you, I think it was more efficient. I feel like Gabe not being there allowed Josh to not worry about involving Gabe in the game. He was just kind of able to play football. Like, I got to get it to Diggs, and then the rest of you guys get open, and it's coming. So I don't know if Gabe plays. If he doesn't, you'll see Sherfield probably get the start. And you'll see a lot more of Khalil Shakir. But I mean, if it's going to snow, who cares? We're running the football in 12 personnel. So
there you go. No, it could be a ground and pound game on both sides of the field for sure if the snow does come that they're calling for. Now, what's interesting, before I let you have a chance to ask me some questions, I do this every time I have a guest on the show, but I do want to ask you, out of all the wildcard games, AFC and NFC, this is the largest spread in all of them. Buffalo Bills are giving the Steelers 10 points with a total of only 36 points. So the sports books clearly are thinking that the weather is going to hamper scoring. So I don't need a score prediction from you, but I'm curious what you think this game will look like, how it's trending, and which way you're leaning. So how do you think this is going to play out on Sunday?
I think that this is a McDermott special game. Like, this is one of those games where Sean McDermott tells the offense, don't hurt us, we'll take care of the rest. Sean McDermott does an excellent job with confusing quarterbacks with pre-snap motion throughout the defense. He disguises coverages very well. You could see 9 guys in a box and get a 3-man rush. You could see 3 guys in a box or 4 guys in the box and get 2 rushers from the line and the ends drop out, and then you have a safety and a nickel blitzing off the edge. Like, he does an excellent job of just kind of disguising what he wants to do. That goes hand in hand with what the defensive line wants to do, which is Daquan Jones, take as much as you can as far as a double team. Ed Oliver, penetrate penetrate through the middle one-on-one and force the quarterback into the arms of 6'7" Gregory Rousseau or 6'6" Leonard Floyd, or whenever Von Miller decides to wake up from whatever he's going through right now. Von Miller, when he gets out there, we got other guys too, AJ Epidesa, Shaq Lawson, Kingsley Jonathan when he gets a jersey. So the job this game is going to be field position, playing sound defense, looking to force the Steelers into long down situations where we got to take the running backs away, and now we're making Mason Rudolph a focal point of what the Steelers want to do offensively. That's the goal here. So,
all right.
Yeah.
That's great. No, it's a good breakdown. I love it. Do you have any questions about the Pittsburgh Steelers and on my side of things. You obviously know the team well after your answers so far that you've seen, but I always ask my guests during this segment if they have any questions about the Steelers side of things.
Yeah, well, my mother's a Steelers fan. I
Oh,
have a
good for
couple
her.
of friends that are Steelers fans. Yeah, so I do know the team really, really well. One of the guys that I do a lot of my off-season draft stuff with, he's a huge Steelers fan. He's actually going up to the game this year, so we talk ball all the time. Yeah, I just I know that TJ Watt is out. I know that Highsmith is your other guy. What do you feel? How do you like? What do you think the Steelers are going to prepare more for? Um, you know, Buffalo drafted Josh Allen to be able to throw in hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, and any other natural disaster that Mother Nature can cook up because he can do it. We watched him do it. So the passing game is not out of the question. So what do you think? What do you think the plan is defensively to kind of corral this Bills offense?
A lot of it's going to depend on Minkah Fitzpatrick, in my opinion. And he has not been cleared. Mike Tomlin said he's optimistic that he's going to be back. He practiced all last week prior to week 18, just was not active for the game. I think because of the conditions in that field, they were probably concerned about his knee. If he's in there, I could absolutely see him being in the box a lot, not only to help with the run support, but also to spy Josh Allen a little bit to minimize his ability to use his legs and create in that way. And it also goes that DeMonte KZ's back off suspension. Trenton Thompson is back probably with his neck injury. So with the fact that they're getting some help back in the secondary, Patrick Peterson should be able to slide back to cornerback. That's limit Levi Wallace's snaps, which is a good thing for the Steelers secondary. It will allow them to help against the run because Minkah's a great tackler, but it will also give them the support in the back end to protect. It's not going to look the same. I really don't think it will. With TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, you say pin your ears back. If the coverage can just hold up for a few seconds, we'll probably get to the quarterback. It might be a little bit reversed where let's spy the quarterback, let's play in coverage, and let's see if we can force him into a mistake. And in that, if Cam Hayward maybe has a game like he used to have last year before his groin injury in week 1 of this season, where he's putting pressure up the middle. Larry Ogunjobi's been playing better towards the end of the season. I think it's going to look different. Pressure is going to come from different areas, but if getting Minkah back will be an absolute huge get for the Steelers in that regard, in my opinion.
Well, my next question is: are you worried about like when you hear, the Steelers? We made it again, guys. We got in. The reward is going to Orchard Park and playing Buffalo in the snow. What goes through your mind? What's the thought process?
Well, whenever I hear going to Buffalo in the snow, I immediately go back to Le'Veon Bell's unbelievable game that he had in the snow in Buffalo, where he himself gained more yards than the Bills did as a team. So those were good memories. Right. I look at the alternative. If it would have gone another way on Sunday Night Football, the Steelers would have been going to Kansas City playing in 0-degree temperatures with minus 13 wind chills. So it wasn't ideal either way, but Pittsburgh's an outdoor stadium team. They're in cold weather. They're used to it. They're used to the snow and all that fun stuff. I think this game is going to be closer than people think. And I'm not about to sit here and say, take the Steelers on the money line, but a 10-point spread, that's really aggressive to me. So I think the Steelers are going to keep it close. I think they might surprise you. They've given up a massive amount of points in their previous 3 playoff games, none under 40. It's going to come down to the first quarter of this game. They have to weather the storm, literally and figuratively. Keep it close going into halftime. Give yourself a chance in the second half. If the Steelers have done anything this year, they've been very opportunistic. They're tied with the NFL lead in the regular season in turnover differential. So getting a timely turnover, we know Josh Allen can do that. So that's my thoughts on the game. There you
go. So the Steelers are one of the more penalized teams
yes.
on the road, but you guys got to be happy about Carl Cheffers and his unit being the officiating crew, because they notoriously call like the least amount of penalties out of all of the crews. This this has the potential to be a sloppy game, but I'm hoping for early snow and clear skies for the game.
Yeah.
That's what I would hope for. Uh, without we know the guys that we know the studs, right? JPJ has been a stud this year.
Hmm.
Fitzpatrick, all pro. Minka's an all pro. Cam's an all pro. Alex Highsmith, if he hasn't gotten one already, he should be knocking on the door very, very soon. Um, who you expect? Who's the guy that you're expecting, or the guy on each side of the ball that you're expecting to step up and show out that Bills Mafia has never heard of, doesn't know who he is?
I would say that if there's a player on offense, because the Steelers don't have a huge array of weapons. Everyone knows Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Deontay Johnson, and George Pickens. And even most NFL fans know Pat Freiermuth. So if there's a player that's not one of those people that are listed, I'd say watch out for Connor Hayward, both in the run game and as a receiver. He's kind of that Swiss Army knife guy that they use in a lot of different ways, sometimes in a fullback role, sometimes as a lead blocker. But he also has really good athleticism and really good hands. So keep your eye out for number 83, Connor Hayward. On the defensive side, I'm going to say watch out for Keanu Benton, number 95, rookie out of Wisconsin. He's a second-round draft pick. He's kind of the forgotten pick, but he has played some really good football for the Steelers this year. He has been a bright spot on that defensive front. Montravius Adams got hurt earlier this year, and he came in and he didn't miss a beat. He's gotten better and better every single week. They call him the dancing bear because he's huge, but he's really athletic, has a wrestling background. So I'd say look for number 95, Keanu Benton on the defense. There you go. So, all right, good.
Jeff, I had a small wish list in the offseason for the draft. Keanu Benton was at the top of it. Wrestling background falls right in with Sean McDermott, who was a wrestler throughout high school and college. The kid came from Wisconsin. I think Buffalo loves the kids out of like Wisconsin and Iowa, and we just never get them.
Yeah.
I think the last guy we got, was via free agency was Mike Hyde. I don't know if we've gotten anybody else, but we love those guys. Those guys are hard-nosed football players. They play the game the right way. They're tough. They're well coached. They're coachable. So, you definitely got to really, really, really go with Keanu Benton. I shed a couple tears watching him go to the Steelers, man.
Well, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about your feed. So if anyone wants to catch your stuff, whether they're maybe a Bills fan watching live, watching on YouTube or hearing this in some way, shape, or form, tell them about your feed and where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. First and foremost, you can find me on Twitter at Willow2K. I mean, they're calling it X now. I'm too old to call it X. It's going to be Twitter until it's not. I'm Willow2K on all social media platforms. YouTube, we have a podcast, which is actually the name of the Bills channel here, the Coast to Coast New Jersey podcast. So if you go look us up, it's Coast to Coast. I mean, you can go to my Twitter profile. I have a link there that links you right to the YouTube.
There you go.
Or you can find me on Fan First Sports Network at the Coast to Coast channel. We're implementing some new stuff. We have a little segment we're going to start tomorrow, actually, called Rumblings from the Herd, where we have random Bills fans. They don't know each other. They're from all parts of the country. They're from we might be able to get a couple people from our UK and our UK chapter out there, but they can only do like Saturdays during the day or something. But we have 4 lined up to come in, and I'm just going to throw some topics, Bills related, that we all know and love. If you're a Bills fan, trust me, these topics will hit home, and we're just going to discuss it. I just want to get the fans an opportunity to have their voices heard. All the time we hear the coaches, we hear the players, we hear the content creators, but we never really hear from the fans. So this is an opportunity for the fans to have their voices heard. We're going to switch out the fans every week. It won't be the same and we'll keep this going as long as we can.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you for the time. Enjoy the game, and we'll be talking. Take it easy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jeff. Appreciate it.
problem.